Hi, I'm Megan. Welcome to today's live reading of The Christmas Escape by Belinda Williams, presented by Itsy Bitsy Book Bits. Join me. Chapter 1. This is why I hate Christmas. I shoved another wad of tissues into Shona's hands and gently pried the mashed up, sodden ones from her fingers. I just can't believe he would do this to me, my best friend sniffed and then sobbed again, like she had done for the last hour. I sighed because I could believe it. Campbell Aerosmith was not boyfriend material. One night stand material, yes. Holiday fling material, absolutely. But the son of a modern day duke was not a keeper. He was too busy turning heads with his impeccable appearance and money to be considered reliable for long term. You met him in Ibiza, I reminded her gently. Shona's blue eyes widened as if the fact was astonishing. So, it was extremely romantic. Her version of romance and mine differed on account of me finding anything remotely romantic cliched. I never said it wasn't, just that holiday romances rarely last. Shona dabbed at her tears delicately, despite her makeup being long gone. I know, I guess I just thought he was different. How many times have I heard that one? I'd even said it to myself on occasion. First, it was Gary, the young, attractive boss I was stupid enough to get involved with during my first job out of university, who later dumped me for an intern. After that, I decided older, mature men made more sense, until I discovered Adrian was cheating on his wife with me. Boring Robert, who had a steady career in IT, seemed like a safe bet in the aftermath, but a relationship only goes so far when your other half has a gaming addiction and the communication skills of a teenage boy. For the last year or so, I'd remained happily single, occasionally organizing a meet up with someone I'd connected with online. But each of those experiences was depressing enough to have me retreating back into the security of singledom. Hence, while I preferred to take on the role of steadfast best friend and a shoulder to cry on. For the first time since I arrived, Shona's expression darkened with rage, and the bastard has left me with a non-refundable air ticket. I'm sorry, what? Didn't he pay for your Australian holiday? Loverboy was loaded. It was undoubtedly part of his appeal, not that money was overly important to me. No, Shona said with a sigh. I mean, he paid for all the accommodation and would have paid for everything if we'd, she gasped for air again, inhaling erratic, shuddering breaths that were bound to result in more sobbing. Stop, I said firmly and held up my hand. He didn't pay for your flights? The shock of my response momentarily distracted Shona from her emotional breakdown. I thought me paying for the flights was the least I could do, seeing as he always paid for everything else. Oh, Lizzie, what am I going to do? I can't afford to go to Australia without him. The term bastard didn't cover it. Campbell probably wouldn't end up going on the trip now either and would merely shrug at anything non-refundable, like it was a minor inconvenience. For him, it most likely was, but not for Shona on her primary school teacher's salary. He's the one who cheated on you and ruined your plans. He should pay for the ticket, I said adamantly. I know, I agree, but honestly, I just don't have the energy for another confrontation right now. By confrontation, Shona meant accidentally witnessing her boyfriend with his lips and body all over an attractive brunette. She'd made the unpleasant discovery after a surprise visit to his office. Campbell hadn't tried to deny it, yet had been surprised when Shona announced that it was over between them and their holiday was ruined. He attempted to tell Shona that the woman didn't mean anything, but had paled considerably when Shona had demanded he let her look at his phone to prove it. Shona grimaced at the memory. All I really want to do now is go home to Cornwall and spend Christmas with my family. I'll worry about the money later. I resisted a shudder at the thought of my own family Christmas. I'd only met Shona's family once, and they all seemed lovely. Nothing like my opinionated blood relations. Shona read my expression. Still avoiding yours? I was about to draw a humorous correlation between my family and a bunch of crocodiles, ready to snap at criticisms at any moment, when Shona's face lit up. I know. You can take the ticket. I frowned, still envisaging the reptiles, but now they were all lazing on a sunny Australian beach. I shook myself out of my stupor. I can't take your ticket. Campbell should repay you for it. But wait, the blinding sunlight in my beach fantasy sparkled at me invitingly. The crocodile's now gone. How much was the ticket again? Shona's jubilant expression faded. 2,500 pounds, she said softly. Ouch. But oh, the sunshine, the sand, no boots or jackets, and no crocodiles, because my family would be miles away and unable to lament insensitively on my lack of direction and success in my life. It was practically a done deal. I'll pay for it, I announced. No, you can't afford it. I stretched to premium economy because Campbell is too much of a snob to travel economy, and you don't even have the accommodation when you get there. Booking it at the last minute will probably be frightful. I'm so sorry. I'm obviously deranged from the trauma. Forget I said anything. No, I'll pay for it, I repeated. Shona narrowed her eyes. With what money, Lizzie? That was fair. I wasn't a saver at the best of times, or a planner, or had my life together in any way, shape, or form. Now was probably as good a time as any to share my news, I suppose. With the money from my redundancy. What? Oh, Lizzie, how awful. It had been awful at first. Last night, I'd been escorted from the office like some sort of criminal under the guise of management having everything finalized before the Christmas break. The awful had continued over the bottle of wine I'd proceeded to drink in my apartment alone, because my flatmate had advised me the same morning that she was moving in with her boyfriend over Christmas. It meant I'd have to find somewhere else to live since the lease was in her name. The chances of finding something even remotely decent over the holiday period were about the same as me finding the love of my life on Tinder. I waved a relaxed hand in the air like all of that was now a distant memory. It's fine. I hated my job anyway, and the payout was significant. I could do with a holiday. And a new job, a new apartment, and a new life, for that matter. Are you sure you're okay? Shona was gracious enough to look doubtful. I gave her a broad grin like I imagined the gorgeous Aussie blokes did and put on my best Australian accent. I am now. I'm going to Australia, Sheila. It's Shona, she said automatically, like we hadn't known each other since primary school. I shoved her shoulder lightly. I know that. Sheila is an Aussie woman. Shona's expression turned confused. I didn't think you knew any Australian women. No, you idiot. It's slang for a female. Oh, right. I see. Well, you're obviously more qualified to make this trip than I am. But are you sure? I'd never believed the stars aligning and all that rubbish, but thanks to my payout, I might be able to make the best of a bad situation. Soon I'd be rent-free with plenty of money for a trip to Australia and back if I was sensible. And when was I ever not sensible? Bloody oath, I announced. Shona gaped at me like I'd grown a second head, but all I could think was that beach, that glorious sunny beach.